But do you have a real job?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast, But Do You Have a Real Job? And we are back with an awesome guest, an entrepreneur living out in sunny California. He works with RVD. He's a partner in his company. It's called RVD CBD. And we have him here today. His name is Jesse. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I guess the first question would be, how the hell do you wake up so early?
I'm excited to wake up every day. There's a lot of cool things happening in the business, and I get to wake up every day and hang out with Rob and work on some fun projects together.
I can feel that. It's much easier to wake up when you have something to look forward to waking up to. I used to have this bad problem where I'd sleep all day because there's nothing to wake up to. You wake up and play video games, nothing. But when you have stuff going on, like, running a business and stuff, there is actually stuff to wake up to and have fun. So that's good. But I don't know if I'll ever be a morning person, like 8 in the morning, because you were like, yeah, let's do it at 9. I'm like, your time. I'm like, what? That's early. And it's 11 here. And I'm still like, damn, that's early. But no. So I guess the first question would be, you run a CBD business and you work with Rob Van Dam. Yeah. But what is CBD? Like, what is it?
CBD is a compound found in hemp. And basically it's able to help you out with stress, anxiety, sleep disorders. I mean, a lot of just beneficial results from intaking it. You can take it via tinctures, topicals, gummies, gel caps, etc. And yeah, it's just an all natural way to kind of let your body kind of relax and reset.
Right. Now, you said there was a few different options there. You had some topicals and some tinctures and some gummies and maybe the flower. What are the differences between those? Like, do they have different qualities? Like, do they do different things?
Yes and no. So from like a lot of the different formats, it really boils down to, all of it's going to be ingested within your body, broken down, and then kind of distributed throughout your body for the most part. So it comes back to personal preference, and also, how quickly is it going to be effective for you? Tinctures seem to be the quickest, or even smoking a vape.
Mm-hmm.
While others, you're going to be ingested, it's going to go all the way through your digestive system, break down like a gummy or an edible, where it takes like a half an hour to really hit you.
Right.
So.
And how do you dose? Like, how do you know what kind of doses to take? Like, let's say I'm a new CBD taker. How do I know what's the proper dose for me in my body?
A lot of it, again, it comes back to personal preference and where you kind of feel like you want to be. I encourage everybody personally to start small and kind of work your way up to kind of find that happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, where do you start off? Like where do you start off? Just by the directions? I saw there was some directions on this stuff that I got in the store. Would you just follow that and go from there?
So, like the RVD CBD tinctures, for example, those will have, we have 3 different strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like we've got a 750 milligram, and that's going to be 25 milligrams of CBD per full dropper.
Right.
And so, yeah, again, just start out small. If you feel like, you kind of need a little bit more, add it to it if you want to detract. But again, it's literally start small, work your way up.
Right. And I've always wondered about CBD specifically. How, like, is it possible to take CBD and get rid of all those other over-the-counter medicines like ibuprofen, Tylenol, stuff like that?
Potentially. With any of that, just for legal reasons, I would say talk to your doctor and, just make sure that whatever you're trying to swap out for something a little bit more natural is you're in the same game plan with your practitioner.
Yeah, I noticed on the packaging, it said something like, it has to say it, like, this is not FDA approved, yada, yada. How do you go about that process? Like, how does that even happen?
Which one? An FDA approval?
Yeah,
process?
like how do you go about getting that sticker that says this is FDA approved and everything we say is absolutely true?
That's going to be through clinical studies and quite a bit of money.
Right. So how hard is it to get one of those?
That's mostly done in the pharma side of things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of natural medicines and whatnot, they never become FDA approved because it's such a hurdle to get there.
Right. Isn't
mean,
that kind of ridiculous, don't you think? Like,
absolutely. I mean, it's
what the heck?
definitely an unfair playing field. I mean, you have small businesses and celebrities that are really lending their name to this side of the business, letting people know that there is a natural remedy out there.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, you have big pharma with huge pockets, and just kind of on the ground floor working our way up.
Right. Because I mean, I mentioned this before, but I can't even promote this stuff. CBD, kratom, which is also like just pain relieving. It's like you can't post this on Facebook even. They look at it as drugs.
They don't let you advertise on Facebook, social media, Google, etc.
Mm-hmm.
We do post organically. So I can post it on Rob's name and Rob's personal page. And of course, we've got an RVD CBD page.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the time CBD and any of these alt medicines are literally blackballed from running conventional businesses.
Right.
Advertising.
Go on. Sorry.
No. I'm just saying, I mean, we're always lumped in together with the marijuana industry, even though we don't necessarily, we don't carry the same licenses. We're not selling the same products. I mean, it's apples and oranges.
Right. And there's no THC in CBD at all. You can't even get high. Well, or can you get high? I don't know.
The legal limit is 0.03 or 0.3% THC.
Mm-hmm.
So there can be a lot of the RVD CBD products. We use broad spectrum distillates and or an isolate where there's zero THC. I would say like our flower does contain within legal limits of THC because it's such a raw ingredient. You're literally picking it right off of the plant itself.
Right.
And so it's just naturally occurring. It's not really until we process the hemp flower do they remove the THC from the product.
Right. Now, how do you go about that process and creating your CBD products?
Right now, we tend to source through various groups. We're always looking for the best product, the best output just start as core ingredients and then work from there. So rather than go create a farm, go create processing facilities, that kind of stuff, we partner with a bunch of them and literally look through all of their inventory to make sure we're delivering the best product on the market.
Right. And then they would send you samples, or you would go there and see how it works, or how would that go?
Both. Yes, we see samples. We've toured facilities. We a lot of times they're passing what we call in the industry a COA, or a certificate of authenticity, and it's basically a lab output of exactly what's in the plant.
Right.
And it really breaks down, not only CBD and THC values, but a lot of the other minor cannabinoids. So CBG, CBN, CBDA, etc. And so you can kind of see, because it's really with CBD, it's really best if you can get a lot of the cannabinoids working in conjunction with one another. You're going to get the best output for your body.
Right. Is there still issues with the government and all those branches of government that care about these things? Is there still issues with those things like there was before, where they'll still come in and say, hey, you can't be selling this stuff? Or is it pretty much like straightforward now?
No, I mean, they will definitely come in. I mean, I've had stores here in California within the last 6 months. Authorities have come in and said, you're selling too much CBD products. You need a different mix of products so that your store is not, call like 80% of your store is CBD and 20% maybe another supplement, weight loss or health, male enhancements or that kind of stuff. And they really want to see very few CBD products and much large. It's just wild.
Is that all because of big pharma, you think?
I don't know where that stems from. That's kind of a slippery slope to really point the finger at one person, but I think there's somewhere behind the curtain.
Right. We've both been living in the same pandemic since it started. You'd think that these people that care about our health and our safety and our wellness would think, hey, this CBD stuff really works. It's not a drug. It's not going to get you addicted. It actually helps people. We should make this as readily available as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think things are starting to loosen up here in California. I mean, it it's been a little bit loose, but I think you're really starting to see. They just passed a bill that, I mean, they're really trying to open up the CBD industry and make it more mainstream and allow people to really thrive.
Right.
Because like I was saying before, banks and merchant accounts and advertising and all of that stuff, it's really handicapped us to just a small business or a startup.
I know marijuana, like in dispensaries, we just got medical here recently, and none of the dispensaries are allowed to work with, well, not, they're not allowed to work with banks. Banks won't work with them. So do you guys have that same issue?
Yeah, that's federal.
Wow.
That's
So
federal,
what,
and
so how do you
again,
get
I mean,
around it?
they're just lumping everybody together in the same. They call it MRB, or a marijuana related business. And so whether you're an active dispensary selling marijuana or selling hemp, you're really looked at as you're selling drugs.
Right. That's literally crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't think that. I mean, I kind of saw it whenever I started promoting it on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, they really take this stuff seriously, and it's not even, you know, a drug that gets you high. So how did you get into CBD, and like, why did you want to do this as your business?
Um, I got into CBD probably or back in 2018. I had a brother-in-law that was within the industry, and through his own network, he started sourcing CBD. I was personally kind of at a transitional point. The company I worked for kind of dissolved, and it was very matter of fact. I had started just kind of tinkering around with CBD in the background while the company was kind of going down. So for me, it was like, okay, well, now this company that I kind of been playing with, it's time to really flip it into a real company.
Right. And
And so that was kind of the predecessor to where we're at with RVD CBD. It was through that I began networking with others within the industry,
mm-hmm.
and kind of worked my way to Rob, and it was, you know, just a no-brainer from there.
Right. So how did that actually come about? What's the story there?
um, Again, just I went to a few different trade shows out in the Las Vegas area. Rob's in Las Vegas, and through those trade shows, I met others who met others. And then my business partner actually put that, went out to Vegas specifically to meet him to talk about formulating a product line for him.
Mm-hmm.
We had put together a few samples and went back and forth, like, here's the type of products we can create. And, it's just through a series of meetings that we kind of, got to the end and just kind of kicked things off. We launched in November of 2019 with two products,
Mm-hmm.
a 3,000 milligram tincture and a 3,000 milligram topical. And a lot of those, I mean, was just literally working hand in hand with Rob to go like, what is it you really want to feel yourself? Let's start there and kind of work from there. And a lot of things, it was, really going back and forth. He would try a tincture and go like, nah, it's not strong enough. I need more.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the topical, more menthol, more CBD, more and more and more, until we got to the number of 3,000 for both of them, which is a huge milligram count.
Right.
But again, if it's strong enough for Rob, it's certainly strong enough for everybody else.
Exactly. And I was curious, actually, is this CBD more athletic based, or does it matter if you're an athlete or not?
Not at all. It's great if you are an athlete, because obviously, I mean, if you're in the gym tearing muscles and that kind of stuff, just building strength. I mean, the topical is great as just an additive. Like I was saying before, there was two formats. One is to ingest it, and it doesn't really matter if it's a vape, as a lot of these different things. The other is a direct application, and that would be your topical. And with that one specifically, I mean, great for repair, great for arthritis, or just overall pain relief.
Mm-hmm.
Where I believe the other format is just better at distributing throughout your body, more mental wellness, clarity, etc.
Right. And you said at the beginning, like, you would maybe recommend tinctures as like the better of the options, or no?
I think tinctures are great. The one that people kind of gravitate to the most are the RVD CBD gummies.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, I mean, it's just a natural, I mean, we've all eaten gummies throughout our entire life,
Right.
whether it's candy or even a vitamin. So a lot of people just, it's an easy format for them to understand.
Right. So you
And they
get,
taste great.
oh no, yeah, for sure. Everybody loves gummies. I sell a lot of gummies. But
Absolutely.
you start the business with Rob and you get it going and you get the products. Now, how do you get these products to the market?
So yeah, I went through, I mean, obviously we've got a website, www.rvdcbd.com.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our sales right now are retail. And again, this is why, a partnership with Rob was so critical. Was Rob had already established himself as, a Hall of Fame wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a huge following of fans for after wrestling for almost 30 years. So again, it was, and he's really been an advocate, a marijuana advocate for, again, the last 30 years. So, I mean, to leverage all of that and really introduce his brand to his fan base, I mean, it just made a lot of sense. So at this point, I mean, we're organically growing our social media following kind of with Rob and his fans. A lot of
Right.
our sales right now are retail based or I mean, really outgoing emails, posts, how can we reach everybody and really let them know that we've developed a great product with Rob.
Right. So you say the biggest market right now is like wholesale, where you send it out to retail shops that sell it in their shop?
No. We're right now, the majority of our business
Or is it online?
is actually retail direct to consumer.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was wondering that if you like everything was online straight up from you,
Yeah.
because that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rob's got, millions of followers per social media account. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just posting to him or he's posting videos. He's very much involved in the business. He's not going to be, he's not one of these celebrities that says, hey, I've already made it. I mean, he's on sales, or we hold meetings once a week, and he's very intricate part of the business.
Right. Now, how hard is it to get all that going? I mean, I saw you had a CBD release party to get this whole thing like jump started. How did that go? Like, how hard is it to put together a CBD release party? And I saw you guys were smoking on the herb and having a good time. Like, how was the whole party?
Oh, that one was fantastic. That CBD release party was with a group. They do Sensi Magazine out of Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Helped put that together. That was at a mansion out in Las Vegas. And yeah, I mean, Rob actually brought a lot of his wrestling buddies, just guys from the industry. And I mean, they loved it. I mean, at midnight, 1 o'clock, when it was kind of time to shut everything down and start cleaning up, nobody wanted to go home.
Right. Yeah, it's cool that you didn't have to really do any. Did you have to do anything? You said it was hooked up by a magazine, so they just, I imagine, you just show up and do your thing.
No, with that one, it was a lot of us as well, just putting it together, inviting key people. I mean, we had vendor partners and other people showcasing their products. But it was mostly, how can we let everybody know that Rob's here in the industry?
Right. Now, do you guys have any brick and mortar stores, or you just do online right now?
Primarily right now we're online. We've discussed brick and mortar stores. I don't know, right now there's nothing definitive in the works, but I think, I mean, we're continuing to kind of look at the market and see when the best time is going to be to kind of pick something up and go.
Right. Now, are you planning on sticking with the CBD, or were you wanting to maybe go to a different product as well?
We've actually, so this week we're launching some new products. We've got some CBD concentrates coming out, some new strains of flower for the CBD business. In addition, we've also been branching out and been networking in the THC business. I mean,
Okay.
Rob's fans, I mean, they're really THC users. Where I think, the CBD was nice to kind of get going. I think the majority of his fans really like and follow him, not only for wrestling, but also because he's been so outspoken about his marijuana usage.
Right.
So from like that perspective, here, I'll see if I can hold those up to the camera.
Ooh.
but like
Oh, okay. We
that's
got
a
the moon
pre-roll and
rocks
a moon
too.
rock. And we just launched both of those in the California market, and also the RVD THC is also in Oklahoma. The pre-roll.
In the dispensaries.
Yeah,
That's legit. If you happen to get them in Missouri, I will happily try them out.
we're working on it.
Now, how hard is that to do? Like, whenever you're selling like CBD, it's one thing, but marijuana is a totally different business.
Yes.
How do you get that going, and how do you get that product into dispensaries opposed to them saying, yeah, we got all of our other people that we're already getting it from. Why do we need your stuff?
I mean, again, it's going to come back to kind of partners in the business and
Mm-hmm.
networking. I mean, obviously, having Rob on the front of any box, any product's going to be great.
Yep.
But I mean, we went through and partnered with a few different groups that were all licensed in each of these individual states. So
Mm-hmm.
you had brought up like Missouri. We just haven't found the right partner in Missouri to go create the RVD line yet. So if you're out there, look us up.
Yeah.
But I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's basically, it's sale by sale by sale. I mean, it's going to each one of these dispensaries and really making a presentation and showing, why this would be a good decision for their store.
Right. Now, how does the distribution work with your company? Do you personally handle all the shipping and stuff, or do you have like a company that handles it and ships it all out for you?
No, with both of these, we are the licenses. We've partnered with a licensed, basically a licensed manufacturer, marijuana producer, and they are all going through and they're building the products on their side. They're licensed to manufacture, distribute, etc.
Mm-hmm.
RVD THC does not currently hold licenses to sell or distribute. So we're leaning on a lot of the partners to kind of distribute to their existing places. Of course, we're willing to help out through, conventional marketing, or even, going to the dispensaries to make presentations. I mean, whatever it takes.
Right. And I feel like a lot of businesses, not even just this, but every business, it really requires networking, knowing who's in your industry, talking to those people and connecting with them and making sure we're all doing similar things. And hey, I can help you. You can help me. Let's freaking do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it's talking to people in all facets of the business.
Right.
I mean, from store owners to affiliates to, licensed producers to, it's really just meeting everybody on a one-to-one basis and seeing how can we really leverage this relationship to benefit everybody.
Right. Now, as an entrepreneur, you got to be a busy guy, especially working with RVD and somebody as fast paced as him in his industry. You got to be going at it all day. How do you work out your work schedule, and how do you manage your personal time away from work?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm having issues with it. And I like to ask people because I really suck at it.
That's probably my personal pitfall. I mean, I'm going 24 hours a day. I mean, yes, I do sleep, but yeah, I mean, when there's an opportunity like today, let's wake up and get it done. Let's spread the message, let people know we exist. And I mean, it's really not one of those things you can dip your toe into and say, I worked on this a couple hours a day. I think that's great to get things started, but at some point there's going to be a time when you need to make that commitment.
Right. Now, is your salary off of RVD CBD, or do you have other ventures that you do as well?
Yeah, I continue. Yeah, I mean, primarily it's coming out of RVD CBD.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for new ideas in any way, shape, or form. So
Right.
there are small projects I'll tackle here and there. We do, white label services and that kind of stuff. By trade, I kind of started out as a designer for the last 20 years. I personally have a lot of artistic ability. So, I mean, I'll gladly help out friends and leverage, some of my talents to help out other companies, however we can do it.
Right. I feel that. And I feel like that's how a lot of people are that make it. It's always because they're willing to help other people and, take advice and be helped.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people expect, oh, I can do this on my own, but you can't.
No.
You,
No.
you said something about white label. Does that mean like you'll create other products? Like, let's say, you have RVD CBD. Let's say somebody else like Kane or some other wrestler came in and said, hey, we want to do a CBD product. You can help them create that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there are things that, we're not necessarily wanting to get into from an RVD CBD perspective.
Right.
Some industries just don't make sense to us for what we're doing, but it doesn't mean that they're, outside of the realm of reality. It's
Right.
just, I mean, for instance, I was helping out again, through my network. I had a friend approach me to create a beauty product. I mean, it's obviously not something that Rob's going to be super into,
Right.
but we made a CBD facial serum for it. And so,
Really? That is interesting. So how does that work? You can like put the CBD on via the makeup, like eyeshadow or whatever it is.
no, but it's more as like a facial cleanser, moisturizer, etc. So they're
Oh,
dabbing,
okay.
small dabs around their eyes before they go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was all in one. And again, I mean, CBD, the properties of CBD are all anti-inflammatory. So they're going to help reduce swelling if rubbed topically. So, I mean, for that particular customer, again, it was just kind of a one-off offshoot. And so it just made sense. Yeah, we'll go ahead and help you out with it. Let's do it.
Right. One question I really had, it's mostly about marijuana, but you're in the CBD business, so I obviously can ask. But
Yeah.
with marijuana specifically, a lot of people are nervous that, hey, when the government starts running this shit and legalizing it, they're gonna mass produce this stuff where it's not meant to be mass produced on a scale of like, hey, we're gonna use all these quote unquote poisons to, boost up the quality of the herb or like the puffiness of the herb so we can sell more of it. Do you think that's going to be an issue in the CBD business? Do you know what I mean? Is what I'm saying making sense? Where like, at first, like let's say you have a home grow and you're doing
Yeah.
like the best treatments to it, the best quality stuff and no like herbicides or whatever. And then it grows to be a giant healthy plant. And then you got the corporations that are like, we don't care if it's healthy or not. We just want to make a bunch of money. Do you think
Yeah.
that's going to be an issue with the CBD business, or is that an issue now?
I don't, I mean, that stuff does exist. Kind of the fallback on that really comes back to the COA I spoke about earlier, where we run it through third-party lab testing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't really doctor that. And so it really boils back to, looking at a COA, understanding, because basically it's going under a microscope if it's done properly. They're doing microbial testing for any kind of parasites, or, I mean, they go through the entire product top to bottom and will let you know exactly what's in it. It's when storefronts don't do their necessarily due diligence or buy from non-reputable sources that you really start running into those kind of problems. I think, yeah, I think that's really the nuts and bolts of it. I mean, with all of our products, every time we run a batch, we're literally sending it into a third-party lab, let
Mm-hmm.
them run their study, because I want to make sure that the same products that I'm selling to you, I know what's in them, the same way that you want to buy from me and know exactly what's in them, and make sure that you're in good.
No, exactly, for sure. I haven't tried the CBD yet. I need to try it. Like I was saying earlier, I don't really like taking ibuprofen. Every once in a while I'll take it, but I really don't like taking it because I know it's fucking my shit up on the inside.
Yeah.
But does CBD have any bad qualities to it whatsoever, or is it pretty much a relatively good thing?
It's been a great thing for a lot of people. The only thing, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier, but before ever starting a new regimen, even CBD, if you're taking anything presently, I would talk with a doctor beforehand. There are like benzos and various other groups that basically CBD can negate the effects.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're taking other medicine, that medicine would basically be inactive.
Right.
So, I mean, from that standpoint, that's really the only the only issue I run into, or I kind of recommend all of my customers. But I mean, outside of that kind of stuff, it's going to kind of help you relax at the end of the day and kind of unwind and get ready for bed.
Right. How is it like living in sunny California? Does that help business at all, or could you do your business here in Missouri? Or
Yeah, no, I think I mean, California is great. I think we've got, I mean, obviously because of the temperature and the year-round sunlight and humidity. I mean, we grow some amazing plants out here. It doesn't necessarily mean that they couldn't grow the exact same in Missouri. I think it's all kind of based on where you live and what the laws are pertaining to hemp or marijuana in the state you reside.
right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think California's, I mean, obviously very liberal, and I mean, in a lot of ways, I think that there's a few key states that are kind of pushing them.
Right. You said it's pretty liberal out there. I would say we're getting way more liberal in here. It's I mean, where I live at, it's a town called Ava. I told you that, but it's like a town of a few thousand, I think, maybe. It's like very tiny, and it used to be like super racist, and I think even now there's like 2 or 3 black people I've seen total ever, and I've lived here for like several months now. But if you really talk to the people, it's kind of crazy that everybody's kind of chill now. I work in a tattoo shop, but we also sell vape products and Kratom and Delta 8 and bongs and stuff. And everybody that comes in there is so chill. It's like, I feel like we're all on this point now where everybody's just kind of like, dude, fucking calm down. Like, let's just chill. And it could be the bubble I'm in where I live in, or I work in a head shop. You know what I mean? Where all the people that come in are fucking loving me. They're like, yo, you got the bongs, you got the Delta 8, whatever. But I feel like everybody I talk to around here is just super chill. Like, they don't care if you're gay or, like where most people would think, oh, Missouri, man, that's that backwoods shit. You don't want to go there. They don't like gays or blacks. When really it's like the opposite effect now. When it used to be that way, it's like super liberal now. It's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think that. Yeah.
I've never been to Missouri, so I don't know the demographic, but yeah, I mean, I've run into similar situations in my life. I used to live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, in the Pacific Northwest, and it was very much known for compounds for white supremacy and whatever else. I didn't see a lot of people of color, and yeah, I mean, but I do think, I agree with you. I think socially, marijuana and CBD is more acceptable. And I think people are beginning to get educated on what it is, why it's beneficial. And a lot of that, I think, I mean, obviously, I think things are loosening up. I think the big change, there was a farm bill introduced in 2018 that kind of gave power back to each state individually to decide what they wanted to do with hemp or marijuana. And most states adopted and said, go for hemp. Marijuana is still kind of on the fence, but you're even seeing state by state every year. There's always 2 or 3 more that are going, we want the tax revenues.
No, exactly. And I'm curious to see what ours is, because this is the first year that like the dispensary has been like full-time running. So I'm curious to see what our tax revenue is going to be like in January of next year when they have to pay or whatever. Because Colorado, I know, has been killing it, where they get hundreds of millions of dollars that they did not have. And now they have it. And all because of marijuana. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Which is why I think people get nervous, because they're like, well, now the state's controlling it. So.
Yeah. Well, and same, I mean, Oklahoma, I think, is on the forefront of things. Colorado, and like I said, in California is in that bunch as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to politicians and greed.
Yeah. And big pharma, of course.
And I also think, going back to the farm bill, that also kind of loosened things up for science to kind of begin looking at the plant and the benefits of the plant, where otherwise it was outlawed. It was very hard to be able to really grow marijuana for scientific study.
Right.
So now that things loosen up, now you have the science community really doing their thing, looking at a plant for the first time and really breaking it down that, these are all the beneficial qualities. This is what can be done. And now as a result, you're seeing those products come to market.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy because you said the 2018 hemp bill got passed, and that's what we used to sell Delta 8 and stuff. And what's crazy is right before the the hemp bill got passed, you couldn't sell CBD legally.
Yeah.
In certain states or certain areas you could, but most places you couldn't just walk in and get CBD anywhere.
No, it was federally illegal.
Right.
And so that one literally gave all the power back to the states and said, state by state, how do you guys want to handle this?
Right.
And most states opted in, I think 46 of them.
Yeah, they were like, we don't care.
Few outliers.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the science that had been done to that point, I mean, everything pointed that this was a positive, beneficial nutrient.
Right.
So.
I want to wrap this thing up here in a minute, but one last question. This is called But Do You Have a Real Job? Because as a musician, that's why I started this, is because a lot of people are like, yeah, I know you do music and I know you do this, but like, do you have a real job? And it's like, dude, are you for real? It's like you can get a job anywhere and people are so excited. If you start your own business, they're like, whatever. You'll be working a job soon. What would your definition of a real job be?
Personally, I came from the tech industry. I mean, with RVD CBD and the launching of these brands, I'm personally designing all of the products, all of the website, anything graphically you see is literally me right here in these four walls. And so, I mean, if I ever had to go back into a job sector or be employed, I'd probably fall back into tech and or still designing websites and still using my creativity on that front.
Right. How hard is that doing? Like, I've seen the products and I'm like, damn, these designs look good. It looks like some crazy shit. Like, how do you do all that? Like, how do you design it where, okay, this is going to fit here and it's going to go around here and all the instructions are going to be here and we're going to have a picture of you here?
It's a lot of just grabbing the core components and just keep moving them around until you like what you see.
Right. I feel that.
I mean, it's never cookie cutter. It's really no different than, I mean, like you in the tattoo space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's going to come in and have their own site or their own vision. At the end of the day, it's artwork. And so everybody's going to, hey, I feel this, I see this. But yeah, it's a lot of tinkering around and making sure that everybody gets their opinion heard. And we all agree on the final product.
So where can people buy RV? I keep saying RBD, RVD CBD. Where can they get it at?
Best place to find us, we're on RVDCBD.com. We're continuing to grow inside of storefronts. If there's a local store in your area, let us know. We can publicly outreach to them and get it somewhere closer.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm happy that we have some of it in. Unfortunately, we can't promote it on Facebook or anything like that. But when people come in, I'll be like, hey man, you got to try this RVD stuff. We got some of the rolling papers too. And I was going to ask, I know I was reading somewhere where Rob liked the taste of the joint. He doesn't want to taste the actual paper. He wants to taste the flower inside the paper. Is that what the whole thing is? It's like super good for the taste of the flower. It's
natural rolling paper. So they're not adding any bleach chemicals to give you a white paper like a cigarette. Mm-hmm. All of that bleach and chemicals, I mean, you're inhaling those when you smoke. So with those and with Rob's personal opinion, he likes a natural long cut, put as much flour in there as he can fit.
Right.
And not get any of the aftertaste.
That's great. Yeah. I hate the aftertaste. And yeah, those bleached cigarettes, well, they're not cigarettes, but they look like cigarettes. Yeah. I don't like the taste of those. You could tell you're smoking paper. It's like gross. But this has been RVD CBD. We've been here with Jesse Daly. He's a partner with RVD on their products, RVD CBD, where you can get tinctures, gummies, a whole bunch of stuff. Be sure to pick some up at rvdcbd.com. And we've been here with Jesse. Go follow Jesse at what? What's your handle? Just RVD CBD? Or do you have an actual Instagram for yourself?
I do. It's pretty limited right now. It's, I believe, at Jesse Daly.
All right, yeah.
Probably the best way to catch me would be at RVD CBD.
Yeah, go follow him at RVD CBD. If you have any questions specifically, be sure to ask him. And thank you for listening to the podcast. This has been But Do You Have a Real Job with Jesse Daly from RVD CBD. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. And we are out of here, guys. Thank you for joining and have a good night. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
But do you have a real job?